I say hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down, y'all.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hello, America! It's Alli. I'm back. Back on the Hunker Downcast and back in America. It's good to be here. Been a long couple weeks. And as usual, I'm joined by my co-hosts who have nobly and ably hunkered down in my absence.
Actually, we're not here today. We're not going to be on the show at all. It's just Alli talking just to make up for...
Lost time.
You're right. So go ahead, whatever you got, man. You know, we'll just sit here and listen to you.
Okay, well, that's Jeff, for anybody who didn't know.
Oh, hi, I'm Jeff. I'm not here today.
AKA the Skooks. Which sounds like a disease of the bowels. Oh, I got the Skooks.
Yes. You don't
well,
want
when
that.
you put it that way.
Sure. Who is the other guy over here?
I'm Lance Vargas, Reverend Vargas on the Twitters.
Hi, Varg.
Hi, guys.
So I was in Asia for the last couple of weeks, which we're going to talk about later. But we've got a great show for you tonight, and I'm pretty pumped about it. And we're going to get going here in just a second.
Oh, wait a minute. Shit. This has never happened before. We've got breaking news.
Breaking news!
On Hunker Downcast. The news is broken.
It's November 17th at 8:40 p.m.
Oh,
and
so that's way broken.
Oh, it's broken. It done been broke.
So we're not breaking
It's as broke as...
We're not breaking any news. This is just a trope, basically.
Well,
this is all bullshit.
There goes the drama.
I've prepared a little...
The sound effect was nice. What the hell's going on, Alli?
I have great news for everyone. And to celebrate, I've prepared a little song.
Okay.
It goes a little like this.
Hit us with it.
Bye, bye, Bobby. We're gonna miss you so. Bye, bye, Bobby. Why'd you have to go? Bobby Jindal.
Oh,
that was amazingly
Bobby
well
Jindal.
sung.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I thought there was
Hey,
more.
you hit the notes.
Bobby
like you did.
Jindal dropped out.
Oh, Bobby Jindal is not running for president anymore.
Oh my God!
He's done. Well, it means he's coming back to be
Still the governor.
To be governor for a couple months.
It's like Vitter's still the senator. It's like, yeah, he's gonna get beat. Oh, he's still the fucking senator.
Well, what? So this means Bobby Jindal is coming back to Louisiana to be governor. Ideally, I mean, if they let him back into the state, because he signed an executive order last week saying that it's harder to get in. So who even knows if he's gonna come back in? But
yeah, I don't know. We should really check his Iowa passport before we let him back into the state.
What religion are they in Iowa anyway? So Bobby is coming.
I have one question about it.
Yeah.
Did he announce it via secret camera footage with his kids? Did he win the campaign as it began?
No,
I wish.
He sent out a press release.
Kids, I didn't make it. Your daddy is a quitter.
Right. Hiding in the trees, watching the children's hearts break.
He did the second best thing, which was he announced it live on Fox News.
Oh.
Is that how I just read the press release? Is that really what he did?
He said it live on Fox News.
Oh my God.
Because that's the way we blank now.
I just got the quote. My favorite thing was that he said, this is not my time.
Right. Something that we all knew.
Ominous, though.
Like 2 years ago.
When is
it
Bobby's
might be,
time?
Yeah.
The 1860s was Bobby's time.
Right. So Bobby's time was actually the Gilded Age. It's not now. In fact, there was this thing. Remember when he opened the Sasol gas plant, or he announced the coming of Sasol?
Yeah.
One of the things he said was Louisiana is having the biggest economic boom since the 19th century.
Right. when our boom times were driven by something considerably more different. Thanks, Bobby.
Bobby's mission has always been to haul Louisiana back to the 19th century.
Oh, Lord.
And he tried to run for president this year and learned that it's not his time, suddenly. It's kind of a rude awakening.
As if the universe bestowed it was like sent down from God. Just, it wasn't him or his backwards philosophies. It was just, hey.
There were some pretty choice quotes floating around Twitter right now because we just broke the news. But my favorite was Timmy Teeple saying that they never anticipated that Bobby would be left off the debate stage. So nobody could have anticipated that he'd be at the kids' table.
Nobody could have predicted the kiddie table happening.
Yeah. And then, the other thing is, Elizabeth Crisp from The Advocate said that he's going to come back to the state and go all around the state to talk about his legacy, which is the most terrifying prospect I've heard of in some time.
Is he going to do that, like, this month? Or is he going to do that after the next governor takes over? Because
I don't know.
That makes a big difference.
Yes, it does.
Because if he wants to come to Louisiana and pretend like he's traveling some more...
Right.
I guess he can have the state troopers this time.
Maybe he's got to go to all those Baptist churches in North Louisiana and say goodbye to all his best buddies, that he's been helicoptering into worship with for the last billion years.
Right, so he'll take the helicopter to Ruston and give his farewell speech.
He'll record some new educational videos for the charter school in Ruston.
I'm sad
from hidden cameras.
He ran it all. Because, it seems like if he was going to do it, he like him not winning or not being successful, and it was as obvious to me today as it was when he announced he was going to do it. I was like, dude, you don't stand a chance.
Do you feel like he maybe failed all of us?
He said yes. Because I really wanted to see him, at least... get to New Hampshire or something.
Right, because now we all look
be
bad.
there.
Damn it, Bobby.
Yeah.
The whole time they kept saying...
Why run at all? Think of all that money that was wasted.
They kept saying, the Jindal campaign kept saying, just wait till Iowa. Just wait till Iowa. It'll change. It'll happen. We're focusing on Iowa. And they did. They threw all of their money and all of their effort into pleasing the voters in Iowa. And in fact... there's an argument to be made that he may have been, given some time on the actual debate stage and, a little bit more time and money. He would have made somewhat of an inroad in Iowa, and then he could have dropped out. But at least there's an argument to be made that his positioning and his rhetoric was focused on what Republican primary voters really do want to hear right now. It's just that Bobby Jindal isn't the candidate to deliver that because Bobby Jindal's kind of a dork. People don't respond to him personally. Yeah. Despite the fact that he's able to win 2 elections in Louisiana, when you get to the national stage, a lot of his inherent weaknesses start to come to the fore. It's very obvious how smarmy
one of them being dorkiness.
Just plain. He just people look at him and go, well, that guy's kind of a nerd. He's kind of fake.
He's super fake. Yeah. Super fake. And he's not even a nerd in a fun way.
Polished robot-y fake.
Yeah. He's a dweeb.
Oh, so there's a difference between a fun way of being a nerd and being a dweeb.
Oh yeah. Nerds are big now.
Yeah.
If he had a Star Wars shirt on at some point, man, he might have been all right.
Are you saying that he's not going to be the king of Chewbacca's this year?
I'm not saying that. I don't know what those.
I'm saying he's a biology major at an Ivy League. He's an Ivy League biology major Rhodes Scholar who doesn't believe in science. He's just so fucking phony that he's. I don't know. He's gonna his insides are gonna fall out of his body from the tension of not being a real person.
Right. That's the impression that you get. He clearly does believe in science. He has.
I don't know.
An advanced degree in biology from an Ivy League school. He doesn't care. He's one of these people who just will say anything to be successful because that's how he measures himself, and that's obvious to everyone.
But then he failed. So he was doing everything he said he thought would make him successful, and yet he was an utter failure in his run for president. So what the fuck's he doing?
He did everything, including destroying the state that we all live in.
Yeah,
so.
and that might be it. If he had done a better job running Louisiana instead of always having that kind of looking beyond the state, then maybe he would have done better on the national stage.
He did fine in Louisiana. He succeeded in dragging us back to the 19th century just like he wanted to. Everything is fine. He's destroyed the healthcare system. He destroyed the education system.
Well, luckily on Saturday we get to elect a new governor, and things look pretty good.
God, we got to have another one?
Yeah.
Like, it's just don't stop with the governors. Jesus.
It's like your friend who is always in really terrible relationships, and whenever they get out of one, they seem to just get right back in another terrible relationship.
Oh, God.
That's Louisiana.
That's us. We're
just one bad boyfriend after another.
Louisiana is a train wreck in more ways than one.
Well, we know how one of them is potentially going to let us down. How is John Bel Edwards going to potentially let us down? Or definitely let us down.
How is he going to let us down? Well, I mean,
if he gets in there.
Let's elect him
is
first.
Is he going to get in there?
Because he's definitely the better of these two options.
Well, is he going to get in there is the question, I guess.
There's some people who are saying that maybe he will, that there's a surprise coming, and then there's some people are saying that the polls aren't jiving the way people have been saying they are.
Yeah, but do you remember the last few times we've been through this drill when, like, it's particularly 2012 presidential race is what I'm thinking of, where a vociferous portion of the right wing insists that the polls are skewed or they're not correct, and you can't believe what you read in the polls, and watch what happens on election day, and it turns out that no, the polls were all right the whole time. You get the feeling
except for that one time in 2004, the presidential election, they said exit polls were showing Kerry.
That was an exit poll. It's different from the polling where we've done the last 4 or 5, major polls that have been released on the runoff. All have, or at least the ones I've seen, all have John Bel at over 50%.
51.
Yeah,
35, and then undecided.
Which is what you need. I mean, you can read the part of the headline that says, well, he's got a 20-point lead on Vitter, and go, well, there's a lot of undecided there, and they could move.
Yeah, still.
But
it's not that much.
They can't move over 50% if John Bel has over 50%. So that's a sign that he's going to be okay. But it's the last week, and this is when all the shit hits the fan, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We want to talk about a dork. David Vitter is super dorky. I mean, between Bobby Jindal and him, those guys are both.
I don't think of David Vitter as a dork as much as I think of him as an asshole. Like, he's mean. He's petty. He's a jerk. His policies are cruel and terrible. Like, I don't think of him as even, like, a fun-loving person. He just seems to me like a nasty, petty, vindictive person. And I think that's why so many Republicans across the state have kind of come out of the closet about how much they hate his guts.
Right, so that's... But we kind of land on the same common denominator, which is it's easy to write, if you want to fill in the blank on this sentence, everybody hates who, you can...
They all hate Vitter.
They all hate David Vitter, and they all hate Bobby Jindal, and it's kind of hard to... I mean, those are the first two that come to mind.
How about a road trip with those two guys? I don't know.
Like to
Alexandria or something.
Oh, True Detective.
Right.
True Detective Season 3.
You pick it up when I'm laying down. Yeah.
They don't like each other. That would be
great.
They
Season 3.
Shockingly, they hate each other too, because everybody hates them. They hate each other. In 2007, I think it was, when exactly the time that Vitter's hooker scandal started to break. This was the time when Jindal was announcing for governor. Mm-hmm. And Jindal didn't defend Vitter at all, or he tried to distance himself from Vitter, who was, I guess he assumed he was toxic at the time. And
as a real family values candidate would do.
You would think.
I
mean, yeah, I think it made sense. It kind of does make sense for Jindal to have behaved the way he did towards David. But he never forgave him, and they've never gotten along since. So there's that.
Has David Vitter ever forgiven anyone for anything? I mean, he's forgiven himself, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. David Vitter.
But I think
The answer is
that's it.
David Vitter.
On behalf of his own family, he's forgiven himself.
I think God forgave him also.
Okay.
True.
Since God is not available for comment, I guess we'll have to...
Everybody makes mistakes.
God's away on business.
Didn't the Duck Dynasty guy said that? It's like, hey man, redemption's in the Bible. It's all right, Dave.
He did.
All right.
That's exactly
That was
what-
awkward.
Did you see that ad? You were out of the country when that ad
I
came.
saw that it happened, and I could have watched it, and I chose not to because I wasn't. I
Well,
didn't want
it's
to.
Because your brain just kind of filled in the blanks as to
Yeah,
probably how bad it was.
I can get the gist of this without actually subjecting myself to its horrors.
Frankly, it's more fun to watch without the sound on. It's David Vitter and Willie Robertson standing there in camo, like looking
Dudes
at the
that don't
camera.
look like they'd hang out.
No, I mean David Vitter looks like he just came out of what is the
Bass
superstore?
Pro Shop?
Yeah, just came out of Bass Pro Shop.
The tags are still on his jacket.
and Willie's talking, and David's just got that. Yep. Oh,
Yeah, that's
my
the
boy.
goofiness I'm talking about. He's just like, gurker, gurker. We're like, damn, dude. You are awkward.
It's fantastic.
You look like you'd have to pay someone to fuck you. And lo and behold,
Anyway, vote for John Bel Edwards.
first F-bomb of the night.
Oh yeah, so no, that means that Alli has officially endorsed John Bel.
Yes.
Last week, Lance officially endorsed John Bel.
Right.
Or last show. But I think they've got different.
I'm endorsing anyone who can get me a job.
Right. So you are basically just looking for payback. You're playing Louisiana politics.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you just-
Yep.
I'm-
I'll do
I'm-
whatever. But yeah, and it seems like he's the one that's going to win, so I'm throwing all my shit in his can. And
Right.
also John Bagneris in the East.
I forgot about John Bagneris, the
Buggy driver. Because he's one of my people.
Right.
He's a Jackson Square person.
He owes-
Says businessman in the paper.
He
But
owes you something.
he's a buggy driver.
Yeah.
My endorsement is based partially on my dislike for David Vitter and partially because John Bell's going to accept the federal money for free for Medicaid.
That's smart.
So that's about it. Because
That's a good reason.
Because honest to God, this news today about how he's trying to, out Vitter on not accepting Syrian refugees in Louisiana has me really upset, and I'm just trying to hold my nose until after the election because I'm really pissed about that. I don't like this whole, refugees are dangerous bullshit line that seems to be sweeping the nation. It's very upsetting and really pisses me off that the Democratic nominee for governor is just going whole hog on that.
So it's incredibly cynical that this tragedy happens in Paris, and then immediately after that we find ourselves in the final week of the gubernatorial campaign, and for a fact that David Vitter, being David Vitter, is going to do whatever he can to capitalize on that, and he has.
Yep.
He has been, if you're like me, and I know I am, you follow David Vitter on Facebook, and you can just read him all day long following this story that his friends at the Hayride have been propagating about. First it was 10,000 Syrian refugees are in Louisiana.
In New Orleans.
Right.
And I was like, where are they?
That turns out to be not true or even possible for a myriad of reasons, and one of them being that if you're a refugee entering the country, it takes 2 years to process you coming in at all. So the refugees exiting Syria today aren't going to be here till 2017, if there are any. There are currently 14.
That's a rule that the United States has.
That's just the process of doing it.
In the United States. Other countries, okay.
Yeah. So
Right, yeah, that's our laws and our screening procedures, which are already very rigorous.
So
More rigorous than, for example, to get a concealed carry permit in any state in the U.S.
right.
More rigorous than to enter the country on a tourist visa for most nations. Like, Not even close.
It's really hard to do. Despite
Really, really hard to be a refugee.
despite what they're saying, despite what they're saying,
Yeah.
it's hard to do. There are 14. There's 14 of them, and not only that, but the people who are coming aren't ISIS. ISIS is not coming. The people running away from ISIS are coming.
They're trying to come in.
Or they're trying to come. They're mostly going into
Germany.
Right. They're not coming here, but the ones who are making it here are running away from the terrorists.
I don't see why that's so hard to understand.
But they're being treated like criminals. Or
Yeah.
whoever wants to treat them like critical. He doesn't care either way.
He's trying to get elected.
Exactly.
And so, based on bullshit. And so, but he's just doing the same thing that got him at 35% anyway. So he's just doubling down on the same thing that he's always been going to, which is sort of appealing to that dumb shit conservative base, which seems like it works. And sometimes in congressional elections, it does work, but the bigger your population, the less that appealing to that dumb shit, racist, white bread base is working less or less, in my opinion.
No, I think you're right. I think it's he's in a very tight spot because he thinks this might be the November surprise or the game changer for him, but really what he's doing is he's just appealing to the people who are going to will have voted
already
for him
voted,
anyway. I think that's probably what he's going to end up with.
He might pull some from John Bel, and then John Bel did appeal to the dumb shit white bread fucking base, and it's just like,
which is what Alli was saying a minute ago. And
he probably feels like he has no choice but to do that, but I disagree. I mean, sometimes if you want to be a leader, like, you have to lead. And
I didn't read the whole statement, too. Did he caveat it in any way?
No, he went whole hog. Like, I want to double check and make sure our security procedures are accurate, and I'm a sheriff, and everybody I know is a sheriff, and so I'll keep you safe. And it's like, the refugees aren't dangerous. Like, the refugees are probably in more danger coming here and getting shot by a lunatic white dude than they are, in a refugee camp where they are. So
they're the ones in trouble.
Yeah. Good luck. It's like when the governor of Alabama was like, "We're not letting any refugees in here. This is Alabama." And everyone's like, "Well,
don't throw me in the briar patch."
Kind of nice for those refugees. They don't have to go to Alabama, everybody.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
You know who actually did a pretty decent thing today was NOLA.com. They ran a piece. Well, not a piece. It's just a post. NOLA.com is just a...
It's just a blog.
Right.
Finally.
This is actually a listicle when you really think about it. It's 5 answers from a New Orleans refugee specialist. And they talked to, I think someone from Catholic Charities. And it's just about the process of getting them in registering refugees, who they are and what they do. And it's a quick little thing. If you want to read it, you can go to NOLA.com. You know where it is. But that's something I'd point people to. There's a few other articles I could point you to, but I'll put them in the show notes. Anyway, so that's what they're doing. Did you guys watch the debate last night?
I watched it until I couldn't stand to watch it anymore, and then Pat changed the channel.
Oh, Pat changed the channel.
Yeah.
Which one was it? A governor debate or a presidential? Oh. I watched it, and then I was eating some chicken, and then somebody said something. I was like, oh, I started choking on my chicken.
Oh, wait, no.
We'll talk about that later.
That was Jeff.
That's coming up later.
It's an epidemic. It's happening everywhere.
The governors don't do that. The presidential candidates do that. But
there was a lot of yelling at the debate.
Yeah, I know, it was great. So you missed it. You missed the best debate pretty much ever. I mean... It was okay substantively. Like, there have been better debates. In fact, the last debate between the two of them was actually really good, where they sat down and they went through every little issue. They talked about the things that they always talk about. They talked about the Transportation Trust Fund. They talked about, how they're going to fund TOPS. They're going to, all the stuff that they've been through over and over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. But this time, they brought, it was like American Idol, where they had, these shouting... partisans in the audience. Like, every time someone said anything, you had this whole crowd of people
boo, boo. Oh, wow.
It was great.
It was old timey.
I think every debate should be like that. I would watch them.
There should be the threat
I would pay to watch that.
Of being run out on a rail. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, fuck it. We're deciding this right here in this room tonight.
Like at the end of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Like that's
a tar and feathering. Then, yeah.
You know what? This is at the end on election night. I hope that we get to sing "You Are My Sunshine." That would make me feel good. Let me feel like that would just be a sense of
that John Bel will get up there and
these boys are going to
like
be
Pappy.
my brain trust.
Well, he is goofy as a motherfucker, so it's not like we're not going to get another goofy governor.
You can always find more of them. There's a bottomless trunk full of them.
I guess who was the last governor that wasn't goofy? Edwin?
I don't know if you would describe Edwin Edwards as goofy. You would describe
But
him
everybody after him was goofy.
He wasn't gallant.
I don't know. People would disagree. They might use that word to describe him. At least
Meemaw was goofy. Jindal's goofy. Rubber Band Man was goofy.
Yeah. Mike Foster was pretty goofy.
Kathleen Blanco wasn't very goofy.
She was a little bit goofy.
She was like, your aunt.
Right.
You're goofy.
She was your school teacher grandma. That was her deal.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think
got
she
a bad rap. I liked Blanco.
All right.
She did. Yeah.
Alli endorses Kathleen Blanco for having been elected governor.
Didn't she?
We'll see how that turns out. But anyway, she's not on the ballot this weekend.
But it's going to be another 4 years at least before we have a non-goofy governor, no matter who gets elected, because they're both kind of goofy.
John Bel Edwards, I'll say these two things for him. Alli mentioned earlier that he is not an idiot with regard to the Medicaid expansion. He will, on day one, accept the Medicaid expansion money, which is what should have happened a long time ago, which will help a lot of people immediately. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I do like about John Bel Edwards, even though I don't like a lot of things about him, I do like the fact that he, unlike anybody else in higher up of state government right now, does not, in fact, hate teachers.
That's true. His wife is a teacher.
He's married to a teacher. But
as he made very clear last night.
Yeah, he did. He talked about the part where they talked about their wives, which was always entertaining.
Oh, God. I bet you that was awkward.
He said, I believe I'm quoting nearly directly, "I'm committed 100% to my wife, Senator. You should try it."
That's what John Bel said?
It was brutal.
They were doing some shit talking.
Man, were they shit talking. It was great.
Between that and David Vitter... Oh, here's another typical thing that Vitter did last night, and this might be the last thing I'll say about this debate, but he mentioned that he's running an ad right now about some, crazy party that John Bel and his teacher wife went to. But he said that...
The purple party bus.
Right, so he said that they were driving around in a purple party bus...
at an adult establishment.
I think I've seen that one on Decatur Street in the French Quarter.
Well, you see them all over the place.
Right.
They have bounce music.
My only question was it the Wiggly Jiggly party bus? Because that is definitely one that exists.
Yeah. That is good. It plays bounce, right?
Yeah. They all do.
Vitter even went so far to...
if you're going to have one, you need to have bounce in it.
Well,
fuck anything else.
Because it probably doesn't have any struts.
It's clearly a racial thing. He's saying,
totally
right, and
you're partying with black people.
He even went so far as to say, he even went so far as to say, on election day, this is how they are getting people to the polls in the purple party bus.
Hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
So now I want to do this. Like this, if we could just take Saturday off and rent ourselves a purple party bus and slap some John Bel signs on and just drive around Vitter headquarters.
I think Club Whatever is a purple party bus. You might want to call them. Shout out to Club Whatever. It's purple. The windows are tinted. And there's always just some arms. Like you drive by it and you just see like arms out the window. It looks like Freddy Krueger Part 2 and shit like
Club Whatever.
Club Whatever.
Well, look for the party buses on Saturday because Saturday's election day, and everybody who listens to this should go vote. And in the meantime, we're gonna take a real quick break.
Yeah, we're gonna end this.
We're gonna end this segment.
And then we'll come back and we'll do the sports panel and move on to other things.
I'm just going to play the breaking news graphic. Isn't that awesome?
Awesome.
Sound effects.
You gonna cut it? Or?
I'm going to let you sit there and be awkward for a while.
I'll need more beer for that.
We're going to need to go back. Oh, all right. Bumper music coming.
Why'd you have to go?
Hello, everybody. This is Jeff again, and I am coming to you in probably not echo. This is the sports panel portion of the show. Sports.
Oh, that's a reference to Rising Tide.
Sports
balls.
Balls and sports people.
Things that happen when you sport around.
Hey, breaking news! Notre Dame is number 4 in the brand spanking new college football playoff rankings. Woohoo! Go Irish!
Yeah.
I heard that they're going to be playing a game in Fenway Park this Saturday also.
They are. They're going to play a home game at Old Fenway, the classic college football venue.
They're playing Boston College, though, even though it's not really exactly a home game for them.
It's exactly what's going down.
Right.
I'm glad you read your briefing paper about it.
Man,
really
you
good.
know, I'm just savvy.
Yeah.
Just savvy like that.
Really paying attention.
So, I'm glad.
All right, tell them.
I'm glad this happened.
Tell them.
I'm totally glad this happened.
Tell them what happened.
Because
Tell the fine people what's going on here.
Yeah, we are opening our sports panel talking about Notre Dame versus Boston College, because that's what everybody who tunes into this podcast wants to hear about.
Hey.
What?
It is.
It is?
It is.
No, it's all right. What actually happened this week?
No, not this week, this hour.
This hour?
Like in the last 30 minutes.
In the last 30 minutes.
No, we're going to self-actualize and just tell them.
You
or
want
else
to tell
it's
them what happened?
Yeah, we have to, because otherwise it's like, how would I know that Notre Dame was playing on?
This is take game. 2 of the sports panel.
Yeah, this is
we may upload the first take.
This was well on the way. Episode 3 of Hunker Downcast was well on the way to being the best Hunker Downcast yet recorded. Until,
in the opinion of the creators, of course,
until we presented you with that fantastic bumper music,
and then left the echo on,
and then left the reverb up, and went on to record the entire sports panel on reverb.
It's not a panel, Jeff. It's not a panel.
Sports panel. This segment of the show
We're
is
a panel.
Oh, okay. I guess you're
That's
right.
what it's called.
The whole fucking show is a panel.
No, this is the panel.
Okay, so the sports segment is called a panel.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great.
I know why you're saying that.
I know why you're saying that.
That's because it is.
Because you have lingering resentment because we would never let you have another sports panel at Rising Tide, so you're calling this a sports panel because you want the sports panel to live. I get it.
Them's the facts.
So, wow, Notre Dame's number 4. And something else happened this week.
Yeah, so breaking news, Notre Dame is number 4 in the rankings.
You know who's not number 4? LSU. Because they done lost a couple.
Who did they lose to?
They lost to Alabama, which I watched from a hotel room in Singapore at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Bong.
And then they lost to Arkansas, which I watched on the back of the chair, the airplane chair in front of me on a little screen. Between Houston and New Orleans.
And that was an old-ass airplane, wasn't it? They still had, ashtrays in the bathroom, huh?
That was the newer plane, but the Trans-Pacific plane was a really old plane. I'm really glad it brought me all the way back.
Right, so Alli got to watch LSU Alabama from a hotel room in Singapore with her graduate school classmates.
Yep.
Huddled around somebody's laptop or something.
And engineer Pat. Engineer Pat went.
We brought an HDMI cable and we hooked that up to the TV.
Oh, you had a cable.
Oh yeah, we had a whole setup.
Oh man,
This is grad school.
Like wires and
this
shit.
This isn't amateur hour.
Okay.
we hooked it up. I think we VPN'd into somebody's like home connection back in Louisiana so that we could get the appropriate streaming rights to stream it on CBS.com and stuff.
Oh, you did it on you did it all legit and everything. You weren't like,
I don't know if it's technically legit, so
because you could have called Edward Snowden. I think he was geographically closer to you.
well, we did the next best thing. We tweeted at the Solid Verbal to ask all their whole network of verballers to see if anybody had any advice, and we eventually figured it out. So it was fun.
Oh wow! And then you got to watch LSU get creamed by Alabama.
Yeah, that part wasn't so great.
No, that's depressing.
The funny part is then I spent the rest of what was actually a Sunday for me. Pat and I went to the National Botanical Garden in Singapore. We were walking around and it was disgustingly hot and humid and sticky because it turns out Singapore's on
That happens everywhere.
on the equator. Who knew?
Wow.
And so we're walking around, and right as we're about to leave, actually, there's an orchestral pavilion thing, and they start playing "When the Saints Go Marching In."
Oh wow!
Right as we're leaving, so they played us out with like a 15-minute long medley of the Saints. So it was hilarious. And
kind of a pick me up after this was after the LSU Alabama.
It was after
football.
the game, yeah.
And then you heard that.
Yep.
And then the next.
And then
day,
I died from irony poisoning.
Oh really?
Yeah, we're in Singapore. They're playing "When the Saints Go Marching In." Yeah, it was a little ridiculous.
Irony poisoning.
That's proper irony too. That ain't that Alanis Morissette
Who did
kind.
the Saints lose to the next day? Oh, that was the Saints lost to Tennessee the next day. So
Yeah.
that was portents of something.
But it was a good game.
Definitely poison anyway.
I did not keep up with the Saints while I was gone, other than seeing that, oh wow, we beat the Giants and there were a lot of points scored in that game. But
That was amazing.
But you didn't see them lose to Tennessee.
no.
The funner of the two losses.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I was fine. I was fine watching that one.
They lost to the team we won't name the next week, and that was no fun.
Well, it's been a lot. It's been bad football. Like this has just been bad football after bad football after bad football. We did, LSU losing to Alabama. Then we did Saints losing to Tennessee. Then we did LSU losing to Arkansas, and then we did
Four
Saints.
straight losses.
Right, unless you count the counterpunctual melody of Notre Dame making the what is it? What have they done?
The playoff rankings.
No, they're in the playoff rankings.
We're not counting. We're
not
not counting
counting
that. No. The only reason why Notre Dame is talked about on this podcast is because of Alli.
Well, Allie's a big Notre Dame fan.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to get
It's
like
not like
maybe
I'm
2
just-
dozen
not
listeners.
just a fan, a graduate.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
No, she
Alumni.
earned
I'm an alum.
it. She earned it. It's fine. It's not like she's some dope in the bar like who likes them because they're Irish or Catholic or whatever they are.
Ew.
I'm neither, in fact.
Ew.
No, I respect that.
That's
fine.
my favorite type of Notre Dame fan.
But it sounds like the Saints were so bad that they had to make some pretty drastic changes.
Yeah. So anyway, the Saints this week. What happened, Allie?
Well,
Come on, do it. Yeah.
you gotta tee it up for me here.
Just your team.
Well, the people will know.
Bye, Robbie. Rob Ryan got fired.
Oh yeah, Rob Ryan's gone. Okay, I like.
Then what happened after he got fired the first time?
Oh, then Sean Payton said he's not fired. And then Sean Payton said, oh, wait, he's totally fired.
He was like, psych!
Psych!
Yeah, okay. So
I'll just fuck with y'all, he fired.
the way that happened really cracked me up because I got up in the morning, and if you got your, like I do, if you're like me, and you go outside and you pick up your morning papers.
The fuck is that?
Yeah, well, they're delivered to your doorstep by a little man who comes around.
Oh, yeah, it's like a
by
record player.
by the underpants gnomes?
Yeah, no, a little boy comes around on a bicycle
okay.
and delivers paper, the newspapers. One is called the Times-Picayune, and the other one is called the Red One.
The Little Red Book?
Yeah. No, the advocate. So you get both of them.
Okay.
Wow, you get them both delivered.
Maybe.
You're an old man.
He is.
This doesn't actually happen. Anyway. So I go outside and pick up my imaginary papers, and both of them. So there's a column in the Times-Picayune by Larry Holder, who's their Times-Picayune Saints beat person, and one of them
who always ends you don't have to read his articles. You just have to scroll down and just read the last line, because the last line of all his articles, he just kind of just says basically what the whole article
in summation.
was about. Yeah.
This is
no,
what
he doesn't
you
say it
would
like
have
that. I guess that's his last little, he's like, I'm a writer, I'm a sports writer, and I'm going to write something poignant at the end here. And poignant at the end.
Poignant.
And it's just like, and Rob never had a chance because he was never given one. That's a hypothetical example, but
it sums it
if
all
you
up
look,
in one-
if you pull up a Larry Holder article, particularly a commentary one, scroll down to the end, read that sentence, and then scroll back to the top, and see what he's really trying to say.
He's got some real writer flourishes.
Yeah, at the end, he always writers it out.
No, it's helpful because at the end he condenses his column into a tweet for you.
Right.
So
It's
you just
140 characters or less.
Right. Good job.
And he did write one, I think, that said, "It's time to fire Rob Ryan."
Well, so this is the one I'm talking about.
Right.
So there's that, and then also in the same day when I went outside to retrieve the papers and the milk from the boy who comes by the house, was from.
And did the Wells Fargo wagon have something for you too?
No, not that day.
Okay.
They come one Tuesday. So the Advocate's Nick Underhill also wrote basically the same column. Like, it's time to do something
Get rid
about
of
Rob
Rob.
Ryan.
Right.
This is the time. So it's like they all knew that this was going to happen, and this was the time they were going to write their article about it, and they did it. And
I think it's because Newell Norman told them that in the coffee clutch.
The clutch.
Right. This all happened at the coffee clutch, and if you check the video,
Which means to grasp, right?
right.
Okay. I
There's
just
a lot
learned that.
There's a lot of Saints talk at Royal Blend this week.
Sure.
But
So-
look, Larry also said today, it's not Rob's fault.
Of course.
So he was like, I don't know when the other article was written, he was like, nah, fuck him, it's time to get rid of Rob. And then today, now that Rob's fired, he's like, let me be on the other side of this and say, oh, it ain't all on Rob.
Well, I'll tell you how this works. So, Rob was ripe, and he was ready to be harvested, and they did, and now they're feasting on the entrails.
Jesus.
So
That's real Shirley Jackson right there, man.
well, I mean, Dennis Allen is very skinny.
It's not like he got pounded to death with stones in front of the whole village and shit.
No, it's not like that, but it is like
It is like that kind of.
he's a large man. Dennis Allen is a little man, so now we have to wait until next year's harvest in order to slaughter
The
him.
harvest of the defensive coordinators.
That's right. It's an almost annual thing with the Saints.
And there's statues of Spags and Greg Williams.
Right. Then you worship their idols.
It is the time of year. It's a harvest and defensive coordinator. Well, that didn't happen on the last one.
Put the cornucopia on the table, filled with coordinators.
With the hair. Like the flowing hair of Rob Ryan coming off the cornucopia.
So, but the reason that we had any of this in the first place is because Sean Payton saw all of this in the paper in the morning, right? And knew that everybody was out. The sources were saying that Rob Ryan was going to be
Sauces
fired.
or sources?
Sauces were saying
Okay.
that Rob Ryan was going to be fired. And Payton hates the press. And he intentionally trolled everybody. He just brought them all out to the microphone, and he said, "I don't know what y'all talking about. We hadn't talked about anything. We hadn't decided anything. Y'all go. That's not time. Next question. And then they all
Which
went,
was just basically Sean being a dick again.
basically, because that's what he does.
Sean's a
everything
dick.
everything he do gonna be funky.
From now on.
Sean Payton is a dick.
Yeah, he's the anti-funky.
Sean Payton is a dick, and it's a shame that happened to Rob because he had to wait all day, and then I don't know when he.
By all accounts, Rob Ryan, not a dick.
No, everybody likes Rob Ryan. Rob Ryan stands up for his players. When things go bad, Rob Ryan says, "Hey, y'all keep blaming me. These guys are working hard."
But they could be bums.
They could suck. That's fine.
They seem to kind of suck. The players kind of suck. Raphael Bush said, "Hey, we suck."
But you know why? Raphael Bush did say it. He said, it's on us. But that's because
Browner sucks.
They respect Rob, and they respect him because he's a stand-up guy. He takes the blame for it. He doesn't blame people for for what happens. It's also possible that he was in an untenable position, and
you mean as being a defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, which is a general untenable position?
It's not the most desirable job over the last decade. I mean, the Hall of Idols.
It may have kept us from being a truly elite dynasty team. That might be the story of this team. Is that with a better defense, they could have won several Super Bowls and been a real dynasty.
And that goes back to, that really does go back to Peyton, and it goes back to Loomis, and it goes back to the decisions that they make, just personnel-wise. Because they wasted a lot of draft picks on terrible defensive backs, especially.
It's been misstep after misstep on the defense. Bird, Browner... those bad draft picks. Everyone talks about how Malcolm Jenkins was terrible, but I thought he was pretty awesome. Misstep after misstep. Who was that guy that they cut this year? The draft pick from the
P-Rob.
No, not P-Rob. Don't bring him up.
P-Rob was a high draft choice, and they just let him go. Yeah.
I mean, we had like a.
But you're talking about Stanley Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah.
He was also a second round pick that they just gave up on.
Yeah,
and it's fine. I'm glad they admit their mistakes. They've always done that. That's great. But they make a lot of them.
There was a while when 48-year-old Roman Harper was still the best guy in our secondary.
He's still in the league and still starting.
Roman Harper was born.
He's on a fucking 8-0 team now.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think we've caught back about up to where we were.
You think we have?
Also, every other team in New Orleans sucks. The Pelicans suck. LSU sucks.
LSU's in Baton Rouge.
It's a sad, bad time. And it's especially a sad, bad time because we miss our friend Rob, and we're going to miss our friend Rob for a long time. Rob Ryan was a lot of things. I mean, he may not have been the most successful person, and it may not all be his fault. But he was a guy that all of New Orleans really got behind, and also he was really good to his players. And we did this. We did this in the Lost segment. We did a it's
not Lost. It's just you got to be on mushrooms to listen to it. Yeah. We'll post
in the Lost segment. We tried to give it a shot. We tried to rank. We listed Rob Ryan as the number 5 all-time New Orleans sports mascot. And so we did this ranking where we had number 1 was Fetch Monster, and number 2 was the actual Saint Bernard.
And I found out that Gumbo was not always just a man in a suit.
Right. So there was an actual original Gumbo who was a Saint Bernard.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just
it's
kidding.
like a real skinny, short guy in a suit who walked around like a dog.
Right. Now crappy. I mean, Gumbo now is crappy, but the dog was cool.
Although he did get his tackled by Reggie Bush when they won the Super Bowl. That was one of my favorite moments of the current Gumbo.
I forgot about that.
He just knocked him down while he was celebrating and looked down, saw that he had knocked this man down, and was like, fuck it, I'm continuing to celebrate.
So we settled on Fetch Monster, Gumbo, what was the other one?
King Cake Baby.
King Cake Baby, Boudreaux, Rob Ryan, and then Scary...
Honorable mention.
Scary
Pierre. A.K.A. the Murder Bird.
Pierre Alpha Pierre.
Yeah, so we'll miss Rob Ryan.
Yeah, the first Pierre, not the Poochie Pierre that they've come up with since
Who
then.
they pussed out and decided, hey, we're going to do another Pierre.
Yeah, the one that everybody hated initially.
Who was
Yeah.
piss yellow
Right.
and just
That
had
was
a
the
maw.
That was the good one.
That was a good one.
Because it was ridiculous.
Right.
And everybody hated it.
Yeah.
So it's a shame that we can't just...
It was good to see that Pierre and King Cake Baby on the court at the same time because it was like, hey, it's the Smoothie King Center. These are our two fucked up mascots. We're named the Pelicans. Our star has a fucking unibrow.
Oh, and we do Special Man commercials.
Special man commercial. You don't know who you're fucking with when
Nope.
you're coming down here. Just
Let's get
watch
weird.
Out.
Let's get weird.
Timberwolves or whoever the fuck y'all are. Where the fuck y'all are from.
Grizzlies, fear the North? I don't think I will, sir.
Shit's crazy down
Check
here.
out this giant murder baby.
You don't know who you're fucking with.
All right, I did. I turned it down. It's all right.
All right, I think that we probably have filled enough time to make up for the horrible disaster.
I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be not as good, but
Coming up next, a new segment. Working in a coal mine, going on a down. Working in a coal mine, oops, about to slip down. Working in a coal mine, going on a down. Working in a coal mine, oops, about to slip down.
And we're back with our new segment called Are You Not Entertained? Where we talk about what we have gone out and done in New Orleans this week.
And
could be
not
food
by.
or entertained or not entertained, depending on what did you do.
Maybe we should call it entertained or not entertained.
To entertain or not entertain, or
What do we know? Let's find out.
Entertainment. That's entertain. Anyways, when we sort out the name for this thing, it's going to be about what we went out and did this week in New Orleans and whether it was shite or good. Where we ate, what music we saw, a museum, a show, an art exhibit,
A hospital.
perhaps
Whatever you may
an
have,
experience there.
whatever amenities you may have experienced or availed yourself of.
Now that you brought that up, let's start with Jeff.
No, I don't want to start with me. Let's start
Okay.
with you.
Okay, I saw 3 shows this last week, or 3 entertainment events. I saw Pussifer, which I went into bone dry. I didn't know anything about Pussifer, and I only know Tool.
Bone dry, you didn't
That
know.
means I knew nothing about it. I just went in there like, there's a show called Pussifer. Do you want to go? And I said yes.
Okay.
So I went there. It was pretty awesome. The crowd.
You're saying yes to life.
Yeah. When you say yes to Pussifer, you say yes to life.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a lady who wanted to fight a couple ladies a few rows up. This was in the Sanger, which I think is the renovation is garish and nouveau riche. I just want to throw that in there.
You don't like the new singer.
No.
I think you're the only one.
I can't say how anyone would like it.
I love it.
It seems like I don't know. You're in like a nouveau riche fantasy. It's like if somebody discovered oil on their property, they would design that theater based on what they always
Do they
consider to
still
be a
have-
nice thing.
I think you're crazy. I think it's beautiful and gorgeous, and I wish I could
compared
go
to
to
the
it
other
more often.
Sangers in Mobile and Pensacola, it's a departure from their classic elegance into this crazy concept that looks like it was designed at Home Depot to me.
I haven't even been there yet.
Anyway, wait, stop.
Okay.
Anyways, I saw Pussifer there. That was great. Maynard from Tool apparently has a huge following because everyone freaked out about him. And there was live wrestling on stage, which I loved.
Oh, it was multi...
Yeah, there was like 13 or 14 different people on stage, and they were singing and also doing wrestling moves, which I cheered. And then like 3 days later, I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson was there. there. He was awesome.
Did anybody get in a fight there?
No, but the crowd was kind of drunk and a little douchey. I guess they thought that they were there to see some sort of, I don't know, anti-Christian, anti-conservative guy, and he did a pretty adept college-style lecture on searching for life in the universe.
And people were
drunk and wooing and going, yeah, and stuff like that. And it was just like, y'all, yeah.
Like the Vitter Edwards debate.
Yeah, there was a lot of Pastafarian shirts.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I was like, and there was people moving around and talking too much, so another douchey crowd. And then I saw an Austin singer-songwriter, James McMurtry, who is the son of Larry McMurtry from Lonesome Dove.
Okay.
At One-Eyed Jack's.
And from Last Picture Show and various stuff.
The bartenders there did their best, but always a pretty bad bartender experience at One-Eyed Jack's. These guys were nice, but just, I don't know what's going on with the bar at One-Eyed Jack's, but it's just, you could never get a beer.
Yeah. But it's always it's not really about the service of the bar there, it's more about the show.
Right.
But
right.
I know what you're talking about.
You got to get a beer.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I mean,
it's
and these guys weren't mean or anything, because I've had just straight up mean bartenders there, and these guys were a step up from that. But still, they were just overworked. There's like just a swarm of people. Like, there's a circle bar, and then like everyone's just like sperms trying to get in at the egg and get a beer and everything.
It's shaped like an egg, the bar.
It is.
So
it is.
Yeah, I can see
you can't close out. You know, I can see them kind of like, they got the deer in the headlights look back there. But a good show. Great singer-songwriter. Great voice. Beautiful timbre to his voice.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Is that everything you did this week?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right,
Pretty much, yeah. And yourself?
Well, Alli...
he wants to close with the hospital.
Alli was out of the country.
Bong!
In fact,
Bong.
Alli is the reason that we have... This is actually episode 3, officially, of Hunger Downcast, because we didn't want to make a real show when you weren't here. Like, we wanted to wait for you. And so we were creating new math in order to invent like ways to label the shows.
I listened to them on planes and stuff.
I'm so sorry.
It was fun.
Oh yeah.
No, so I was, over the last 2 weeks, I've been in Tokyo, Singapore, and Hong Kong with LSU. And it was really great. It was a nice mix of cultural visits and business visits and free time, which mostly I just spent eating and riding the subways in the 3 different cities. And the constant drumbeat through my head while I was gone, because everything worked so well, was just like, wow, America is garbage. Like, we don't do any of this. What are we even doing? Like, in Tokyo, their subway is so perfect. And everybody, like, it doesn't smell at all. There's not one piece of litter anywhere.
Points.
Everything is clean. People wait in orderly lines to get onto the train. So, like, there's, like, little markings, and everybody stands in a line to get onto the train, and then you get on. You either find a seat or you grab a handle, and then the train starts to move. And at one point, it was so quiet that I could hear myself breathing on the train while it was moving and full of people. It was
sounds self-actualized.
It was amazing.
Frightening.
It was amazing. It was amazing because in a
compared to a bus here in New Orleans.
Well, I mean, in a city that crowded, if everybody is talking all the time, you'll lose your shit because it's just all people yelling at you everywhere. But if there are actual moments that people respect, of wow, maybe I'll just shut up for 5 minutes, it's actually a really nice moment of solitude.
Do you think that it's kind of a cultural thing, or do you think it's because there's a guy with a decibel meter?
No, I think there's in Japan there's a rule for everything, and and they're all unsaid and unwritten, but there's rules for the order in which you get onto an elevator and where you stand on it in a business context. There's rules on how you get into a taxi cab and which seat you should sit in. In a meeting, in business meetings, there's rules about who should sit where, depending on their seniority and whether they're the host or the guest, and like all this stuff. It's really regimented.
It's scary. That sounds...
No, I appreciate that.
You like that.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
too
for-
much fucking chaos.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
I like chaos.
Singapore was a little...
When you get people saying, "Hey, you disrespected me because you sat closer here," then you haven't.
But then those people are the problem. Then you know who the problem people are because they care about
Well,
shit
that
like
doesn't solve anything.
No, you just
Everybody knows who the problem people are. It doesn't solve anything.
No, I mean, I'm not expecting to solve anything. I just kind of...
I think that if you're in that culture all the time, you can feel stifled, certainly. But I think there is a nice element of mutual respect for living in a shared space with a lot of people. And it starts in Japanese culture, it starts very early when they're kids. The kids are responsible for cleaning their own schools. They have specific times during the day where they all sweep, they dust, they have like a chore wheel at their school, they serve each other lunch, they do the dishes, like they are responsible for their own space. And I'm sure that extends to their homes as well. And
is that like in New Orleans when we used to make kids bring their own toilet paper? Because we couldn't,
I think it's a little different.
because we couldn't afford to pay for just
The beginning of
janitorial
Eastern
upkeep.
influence.
Right. I guess that's what we're arriving at, right?
I mean, sure.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I
I think
don't mean to derail.
no. I
your
mean, I
train
have.
story.
I could just
I would
talk
never
about.
compare Tokyo to New Orleans. Just,
Oh no, you can't.
yeah,
You
it
can't.
seems-
But look, I guess the point is that you were impressed with the public transit. I think
I was
mean, 'cause
impressed
you're
with
kind of
with the infrastructure in general, and also and the cleanliness. You can't help but notice it and admire it. It's a nice change.
And was it different in Singapore than it was in Tokyo, or was it more of the same, or was it similarly impressive, or what?
It was similarly impressive. Singapore is, is more of a British colonial type melting pot of Chinese and Malay and Tamil culture. So, and it was built, you can tell it was built differently. It was built for cars. So even though they have a subway, it's slowly, pretty rapidly expanding. They're adding tons and tons of kilometers of new track to it. So there's construction everywhere.
Oh, wow.
But it's actually a lot easier to walk around Tokyo and be a pedestrian in Tokyo than it is in either of the other two cities. Because the sidewalks are wide, the crosswalks are perfectly functioning, the cars actually stop where they're supposed to and respect the fact that people are walking. Like, it's really nice.
So Tokyo really impressed you as just an operating machine.
Yeah.
And Singapore,
It's one of the, it's either the biggest or the second biggest city in the entire world.
so it kind of like has to.
It has to be.
It has to work.
Yeah.
Singapore may be more of a work in progress, but you seem like you were happy there too.
Yeah, all three of them were great. I had a great time in all three cities, but Tokyo was my favorite. It was. But I'll come back next week with maybe more specific food observations for, a more focused episode.
So the answer to the question, "Are you not entertained?" is Alli was very
I
entertained.
was very entertained
by riding the
By
subway,
right.
by the cleanliness.
because I am a
I
nerd.
admire, as far as it relates to getting around, I'm kind of for more rules.
I mean,
I don't want anyone telling
yeah.
me what to drink or smoke or
right.
that I can't, get all crazy and dance. But getting around, yeah, there needs to be more rules.
Sure.
People run into each other all the time. It's
More
clearly
enforcement.
chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of at odds with you guys on this, but I don't really think we're going to have a fight about it right now because I just, I feel like the problem isn't so much that there aren't enough rules; it's just that people aren't really tolerant or accepting of, things not going perfectly all the time. Some days you got to wait in line for shit. Oh well, you're just one person. Some days, the guy in front of you is an idiot, or some days you get honked at when you're driving to work.
Well, that's something you need to work on, Jeff.
It is.
You're the one who has a problem with being honked at.
Don't honk at me. Don't honk at me. But the point is that that's my problem.
My problem is when
it's not the system's problem.
Yeah, but it kind of is the system's problem. If the system's designed in such a way that it's late every single day, that's a bad system. That's a shitty system, and we need to redesign it.
Or just don't be on time every day. Who cares? It's like It's fine.
It's
We're getting
not
off track.
fine.
We're getting off track. We need to talk about Jeff's That's Entertainment. That's entertainment. Or Are You Not Entertained? Or whatever the name of the subject.
Are you not entertained? Well,
What did you do? And you were talking about vaguely on the internet, Jeff.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so I'll just tell you what I heard about Jeff.
No,
is
all right.
that all right?
So this week, my experience my exciting experience with, what happened?
You were watching a debate.
All right. So anyway, I watched.
Somebody said,
I watched the
tune into Facebook.
I watched the Republican debate on Fox Business channel this week.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There were all kinds of fun things, like Ben Carson talked about pyramids again.
Again.
Well, he said
You'd think he'd shut the fuck up about that.
he didn't really say that. He talked about housing before 1913 and how great it was, and
Oh well, I guess that the pyramids sort of.
everybody lived in pyramids before 1913. I think that's what he said. Marco Rubio said that he wanted to send all the philosophy majors back to metal shops so they could learn to be welders or something like that. Did you watch this debate?
I don't know if
No,
the philosophy
I wasn't
majors
back
are
yet.
a huge problem.
What else happened?
They're a problem to themselves more than America at large.
Ted Cruz had a moment where, remember last year when Rick Perry was asked to name the three departments? that
Yeah,
would
and then
shut
he got
down,
yeah,
and he couldn't remember what the third one was.
Right, yeah,
Ted
Oops.
Cruz had a similar moment.
that
where
was awkward.
Ted Cruz had 5. His list is 5. Perry's list was 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cruz had to list 5, and he named the Department of Commerce twice in his 5. But
Good job. Good effort.
Nobody noticed because he played it off. Like, he just kept on talking and didn't stop and say oops or anything like that. So
Story of my life. Nobody noticed because he played it off.
Anyway, the point is that the Republicans were talking, and it's funny because they're ridiculous people. And then at one point, the moderator says, so if you guys want to follow along with this exciting debate on the internet, what you do is you go and you type in hashtag GOP debate into Facebook.
Because that's a thing that people do.
Already nobody does that. Anyway, so that
Dude,
was
get it straight. You hashtag on Twitter.
right.
I don't know what you do on Facebook.
So I am sitting there watching this with keeping in the Asian theme. I'm having a plate of General Tso's chicken from August Moon,
Right.
which is just like being in Hong Kong with Alli. And I happen to gulp down at the moment that they say that an exceptionally large piece of General Tso chicken.
It was a perfect, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Everything converged.
So that gets lodged in my esophagus. I mean, this actually happened to me.
Your lower esophagus, though.
I don't know where it was.
It was beyond your windpipe. Though.
It was.
You weren't having trouble breathing.
No, I could breathe and talk, but I couldn't swallow it, and I couldn't puke it up.
God.
It was just there.
It was just sitting there, and
So it's different from the feeling you get when you eat pancakes too fast?
it's like that feeling, but permanent.
Oh, God.
You can't. You can't.
Starchy buildup.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So
And you can't, drink water and shove it down there?
Well, that makes it worse. Like, you try to drink the water, and then it just
Because it's stuck there.
reminds you of how painful it is.
Okay.
And so obviously you feel like an idiot. So here I am, a 90-year-old man hasn't learned how to chew my food, and I can't swallow
Is
the.
Menkles freaking
Well,
out?
So Menkles is mad at me already,
Yeah.
but she's also like, "Oh my God, we have to go to the hospital now," and I'm like, "This is stupid. I'm gonna swallow my food eventually." So there's about 2 hours of this, of me walking around. The Republicans continue to talk, by the way, so I have to sit and listen to
It's
them.
suddenly become the second most important thing.
I don't know. I'm kind of listening to them because they're saying more stupid stuff. Carly Fiorina says something about, how she knows what's in the secret sauce, which made me laugh.
Sure.
But
Sauces.
Sauces.
Sauces say.
Anyway, I'm dying, and it's taking like hours, and eventually she wears
Your
me down.
esophagus could rupture at any moment.
Yeah, I learned later that this is kind of a dangerous situation, that it happens a lot to people, but it's still...
It's called what? It's called something.
It's called a spile.
I don't think that's what it's called. I don't think it's...
You use a spile to get
It's
the
called-
general so's out of your throat.
It's called Jeff is a freaking moron.
No, it's another. There's a syndrome, right?
Oh yeah, according to Menkels, who looked it up on the internet,
Oh, God.
it's called steakhouse syndrome. Forgot about that. Anyway,
It's Ron Swanson disease.
yeah,
Coming up
exactly.
next,
So
Hunker Downcast, the According to Menkels segment.
Oh, we could do that.
Oh, yeah.
Great. So we go to the hospital. We go to Toro Emergency, and
Who hasn't been there?
you walk
We've
in
all
there,
been there.
and
I've been there.
And because you are fine, you feel like an idiot, they ask you what's wrong, and you say, "Oh, hi, I'm choking to death. It's okay." And
Wait, you're not choking if your windpipe is not.
that's what I told him. I told him I'm choking to death.
Well, all right,
But I said it like that. And
hi, I'm choking to death.
it's exactly what I said.
And they're like, we hear it all the time.
True.
You and everybody else in the world.
Choking to death. Is that a Dutch name?
It is.
Hi, I'm choking to death.
My name's Arnie Van Choking to Death.
I think that was a
Don't
South
mind
Park
me.
character. So anyway,
That's
Long-
just the last name.
long
Choking
story
to death.
short, they the first thing they do is they give you Valium intravenously. So which is nice.
I gotta choke more often.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I recommend it. If you want good cheap drugs that are fast acting and enjoyable, please don't chew your food. So that work. They do that,
Well, there are other ways than that.
but they say that's going to work, but that doesn't work. So an hour later, they call in the emergency surgery people, and they bring you upstairs, and they knock you out with the Michael Jackson drugs. And
Wow.
Propofol.
that's what it's called.
Propofol.
Yeah, they just told me the Michael Jackson drugs.
Oh,
That's what they,
That's the official hospital name for them now?
it's got a colloquial name now,
right,
huh?
because I'm an idiot and that's all I know. That's fine.
It's like an ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease
Yes.
thing happening.
yes.
It used to be ALS or... Okay.
Michael
The
Jackson.
Michael Jackson drugs.
Right. They knock you out, and then they take a long selfie.
That's a terrible thing for them to say to you. That dude died doing those drugs.
That's what
Yep.
I said, but they don't care. They're mad
because of that doctor.
They're mad because it's 2:00 in the morning, and they were on call, and I woke them up because I couldn't swallow my chicken. So
Yeah.
I'm not, they're right.
Yeah.
So
Fucking loser.
So
You couldn't swallow your chicken because the moderators of the Republican debate told people to type in a hashtag on Facebook.
Well, he also said it was a large piece of chicken, too, so...
'Cause I
he
didn't
might
chew-
could have chewed it a little bit.
I could have chewed it. It's definitely my fault.
Don't
Anyway,
ravenously attack your...
I bet you've been masticating the shit out of your food lately, though.
well, as you might expect, Michaels asks me every time I eat something, "Are you chewing that?" Yeah, Mom. But, so the way they remediate it is they knock you out with the Michael Jackson drugs, and then they take a long selfie stick and shove it down your throat, and, and take pictures the whole way the whole time they're going down there, and they shove the food down, and when you're done, they wake you up and they give you the photographs, and you're like, "Here you go. Here's what we did while we were down there." And
Can we put those in the show notes?
we can put them in the show notes if you like.
Perfect.
I have them. We'll put them. We'll Instagram them and everything.
I would love to see those.
It'll be great.
It's amazing to me that so much of medicine is like that these days. It's like, oh, you got a lump on your in your stomach. Well, we're going to cut it out and sew you back together. Or fucking like there's so many things that are just like regular everyday solutions and stuff, but it's called like medicine and it costs
A fecal transplant? Have you heard about this?
What?
For people with this one type of bacterial infection in their gut, called C. diff, what they do now is they actually transplant the intestinal contents of a healthy person into the intestines of a person with this, and the good bacteria in the healthy person's gut then colonizes and gets rid of the bad bacteria in the sick person.
Doctors are evil.
Fuck, couldn't they just do that from the top end? Like, have you eat some good bacteria? And avoid the whole...
Yeah, isn't that what the whole naked pizza thing was? It was like probiotics and shit?
Yeah,
naked pizza, avoid... Eat pizza now, avoid a fecal transplant later. God, I don't know why they're not using that slogan already.
Or
it's better than a fecal transplant. Eat this.
Well, I've been very entertained by this segment, you guys.
I'm
this
sorry.
Is good.
I'm sorry that happened to me. Yeah. So the only decision you have to make really in medical science these days is which Instagram filter do you want them to photograph the inside of you with?
Juno.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fair enough.
I like lo-fi.
I'm no filter. No filter.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
Dude.
Fuck that shit.
In fact, you're wearing a shirt with a pattern on it tonight, which is pretty crazy for you. Yeah. You're usually like just bland colors and
We'll
stuff.
put my shirt in the show notes.
Do you have a recipe minute, or do we need to like do another some more bumper music?
Well, we're going to shut down this segment, and then we'll come back with the recipe minute.
All right. We're shutting down this subject, and we're going to...
because after choking on your food, who wants
We're going to be at 90 minutes, baby.
All right, hit it.
Let's do it.
Boom.
And now, the recipe minute.
Oh, hey, look, it's me doing the recipe minute this time. Okay, so this is something we did 2 weeks ago, and it was specifically because Chef Paul Prudhomme recently left us, and everyone loves Chef Paul, and I decided to pull out one of his many books that are laying around and look up something that I've wanted to do for a long time anyway, and it's a recipe he called Coffee Nut Chicken. And what it really is kind of like it's a mole, but it uses instead of like you would assume, with your mole sauce like would be like nuts and stuff. It uses those, but it also instead of chocolate it includes instant coffee, which is kind of weird. Anyway, so the Chef Paul recipe there are three things. There's a seasoning mix, and then there's a coffee nut puree, and then there's the chicken. The seasoning mix that we use, and I didn't really follow his recipe exactly, but it includes, you're basically like some cayenne and some salt and pepper and stuff like that. I put in, there's some light brown sugar. There's, and then he recommends some different kinds of dried chilies, but I just had whatever I had laying around, which is probably some ancho chilies that were just dried in my kitchen. I chopped those up. And some ground cloves, and that you put that together. You dress your chicken in it, and then you brown your chicken. You just like regular chicken thighs, you brown them in a skillet. Pull that out, and then you make your nut puree, and that it consists of some pumpkin seeds, some chopped pecans, some poppy seeds, and some sesame seeds. And you toast those for a little bit, and you throw them in the blender with some more brown sugar. And some instant coffee with chicory, which you can get at your local Rouse's. You throw that all together in the blender. You add a little chicken stock to it. You set that aside. Then you brown some onions in some oil. You cook that down really slow in the same pan with your chicken browning spices. Then as that browns, you add in the puree. You add in the you add the chicken back, you throw in the rest of your seasoning mix, you throw in the whatever chicken stock you have, a couple of cups of chicken stock, and then you just boil it down and you let it sit in the pot for like another 45 minutes or so with a cover on. And at the end of it, you have something that kind of tastes, it's kind of like a little mole coffee chicken thing. It was great. And I recommend everybody do it. You can look it up on the internet and get better instructions than what I just gave you. It's Chef Paul's Coffee Nut Chicken, and that is the recipe minute.
Or the recipe 3 minutes.
Whatever
it could be. And now it's time for the Jive Wire. The Jive Wire comes to you at the top of each odd hour and is brought to you by Magnolia Builders.
They build it better. Oh, no, I got it wrong.
Because we build it better.
Because they build it better.
Oh, because they build it better.
Well, because we build it better, but we're not them.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Somebody built something and then they came in and did it better than whoever did. Whatever. That's their fucking tagline.
for an expanded listing, visit our website, hunkerdowncast.com. To get your gig into the Jive Wire, email hunkerdowncast@gmail.com. The Steamboat Queenie hosts Callie Calliope at 7. Shambulas features Patricia and the Remnants at 8. Muttering Bills features Cump Punt Formation at 8. The Central City Golf Club hosts Misconstrued at 8.
Oh, I like that.
The Apple Bottom Bar hosts The Noise Complaints at 8. The bar formerly known as the Smoky Bar features Brain Cloud at 10. Carson McCullers Irish Pub features A Heart is a Usage Metric at 10.
Wow.
The Audubon Boulevard Bar features The One Percenters at 10. The Wrong Side of History Bar features Endorsing Vitter at 10. The Girard Cemetery Bar hosts Streetcar to Nowhere at 10. Mondays in Mandeville features Cultural Gumbo at 7. Next on the Hunker Downcast, the All Recipe Minute Thanksgiving Edition features a recipe for corn husk dressing and yakamain pudding, a tryptophan triptych, a workshop on snout-to-tail nutria butchery.
Oh, look forward to that.
Tips for small plates. No one will be satisfied by.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to look forward there, Varg. I'm glad that you read that for us because I would not have tuned into the next Hunker Downcast otherwise. What are the ways that people can get in touch with us again?
You can tweet us at hunkerdowncast on Twitter. You can email us at hunkerdowncast@gmail.com. You can go to our website, which is hunkerdowncast.com. You can follow us individually on Twitter. Jeff is at Skooks. Varg is at Varg Vargas. I am at Allison_DeYoung. And with that, we'll see.
Well, hold on. You can also stop by me and Jeff's jobs, at least, where we're captive audiences. And
you can stop. You can see Varg at Jackson Square or at the Dirty Boys Gallery.
Just come by and say, "Hey."
Go down to Dirty Boys and hang out with the. I guess we're trying to plug Dirty Boys Gallery.
I meant Jackson Square.
Okay,
I'm never at the Dirty Boys.
Oh,
well, sometimes
last time I saw you there. Yeah. Anyway, despite being derailed, we're on our way out of the show.
Yep. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Share the show. Tell your friends.